Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This film is rated M for suicide and self-harm references and coarse language. After the immense success of The Father with Anthony Hopkins back in 2020, Florian Zeller's second directorial feature film is just released in Australia, starring our very own Hugh Jackman with what could possibly be one of his best performances. So this is Kia's Reviews and this is my review of The Son.
And what has happened to you? What is there in your life that is so dramatic you're not able to go to school like everybody else? Answer me. Answer me!
I can't deal with it.
Don't understand what that means. You can't deal with what?
Living. I can't deal with living, and it's your fault.
Sorry?
If I'm like this, it's your fault.
What have I done? What's my fault?
You disgust me.
The Son is the second film adaptation of Florian Zeller's trilogy of plays that contain the father, the son, and the mother. Since The Father was such a massive hit back in 2020, there was an understandable and justifiable amount of excitement for Zeller's next feature film. While this is a prequel to The Father, it connects to it very loosely with very minor ties, so it doesn't exactly feel like a direct prequel in any way. The biggest selling point for me with The Son was its cast, because Hugh Jackman, Laura Dern, Vanessa Kirby, and Anthony Hopkins are an amazing group of incredible performers that have all proved that they can take deep, visceral emotion and put it on display in some magnificent performances. And since the plot upon which The Son follows is very heavy and dark, I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity for all of them to once again perform brilliantly. In the end, it only felt like there was one truly committed performance, and that came from Hugh Jackman. But even in his most vulnerable and hard-hitting sequences, it felt as if he was holding back with just how much he could give to these scenes, which I felt was very unfortunate since he's usually very raw with his emotionally driven roles.
I don't want you to hurt yourself. Do you understand me?
I don't hurt myself.
Look at those scars. That's what I call hurting yourself.
It's the opposite.
What do you mean the opposite?
Nothing.
No. Explain it to me. Explain it to me, Nicholas.
It relieves me.
Nevertheless, that doesn't debase the fact that Hugh was astounding to watch. What makes it hard to watch his performance is that he's very unlikable and there's never a truly redeeming arc for him, despite what his goals are in this story, and since that's the point of his character to be unlikable, Hugh pulled off the performance almost exactly as he needed to. However, he was surrounded by a cast that tried to keep up with him, but didn't fully give themselves to their characters either. Vanessa Kirby was in fact one of my most anticipated performances in this film, but like Hugh, it felt like she was held back in all of her scenes, leaving her to be bland and as if she was being put on the sidelines. Laura Dern was close to achieving Hugh's high level of performance, but since she comes in and out of the story way too frequently, her presence feels central, but also feels as if she doesn't belong as someone to care about. What disappointed me the most is that I didn't care about any of the characters, and I think that feeling originates from the core story being about Hugh's son and his journey through depression and neglecting those around him, but what's wrong with that is that it was told through Hugh's perspective and not the son's, which made the experience quite awkward.
Still trying to show me what a model dad you are. Wow. So what do you want? Applause? Bravo.
It's funny you should say that because, the other day I was thinking again about the time when I was Nicholas's age.
See?
Yeah, when Mom was ill.
Zen McGrath, who plays Hugh's and Laura's son, struggles with depression throughout the story, and the subject of suicide and attempted suicide is very central in this plot, so there's an expectation of handling that theme very delicately, but very seriously. Since it's from Hugh's perspective, it never feels personal enough at all, so as the plot develops, the audience doesn't have any emotional attachment to any of the characters. While McGrath is surrounded by magnificent performers, you couldn't help but feel like he was extremely miscast. The emotion that was required of him to make this performance so memorable and hurtful wasn't there, and because he's the driving force of this story that propels the actions of the rest of the cast's characters, these supposedly emotional scenes come across as awkward, dishonest, and sad to watch, not because of the story, but because of how terribly handled this topic was. There's never an actual impact that The Son conveys to its audience, which is very disappointing since The Father had such a resonant impact on nearly everyone that saw it, but The Son tries to tackle very serious subject matter, but doesn't document it through the right lens.
What, you really believe Nicholas is not capable of looking after his little brother when he's asleep?
Oh, God, you know very well. He's been depressed. He's still unstable. He's even... I'm sorry this shocks you, but I'm not gonna leave my son with a...
With what? Go on, say it. You're not gonna leave your son with what? No, say it.
He's weird. Don't say that he isn't. In fact, he's extremely weird. The look in his eye is disturbing. When are you gonna face up to the fact that he's not right in the head?
The Son was one of my most anticipated films of 2023, and unfortunately it's going to become one of my least favourite watches of the year, since the subject matter is incredibly heavy but was treated and handled so poorly, as well as having a central cast member being too weak to enact such an emotionally destroyed character. The runtime of 2 hours should have been easy to get through, but you can't help but feel like it drags on to the point where you're so bored you're actually considering leaving the cinema. Hugh Jackman is great, but it's nowhere near what could have been one of his best performances, but Laura Dern and Vanessa Kirby also suffer with their portrayals because of the distinct feeling that they were held back from truly committing to the raw elements of their roles. This was incredibly disappointing, and while I won't go so far as to say that this was disrespectful to the subject of suicide, it was certainly terribly mishandled, so I'm giving The Son a 4 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. Are you going to see The Son? Let me know below. As always, be sure to have a look at my previous reviews of Women Talking and spoiler alert. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Letterboxd and Instagram for all of my latest movie reviews. This has been Kia's Reviews, signing off for now.
Don't forget to like, follow, and obey.